The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
What time is it?
I am the face that runs the place.
You need Roman to be out of the main title picture for a little while. Like, just, you give him a break. This is the only way you're possibly going to get the crowd to do anything but boo him, is give him a break.
I'm the greatest wrestler in the world.
It was exciting to see because it kind of reminded me of Reading Rainbow a little bit.
All they needed was LeVar Burton to come in there.
This would have definitely got a 5-star pay-per-view for me.
Show of the year.
Yeah, show of the year.
How you doing? Everything that we said out there was truth, and it was proven. John Cena says, hey, we want a match. We say no. Daniel Bryan comes out and says, yeah, that's great, that's wonderful. It must be so convenient to have the general manager as almost a family member. But the thing is, when we talk about John Cena, we are saying the truth. When she talks about Nikki Bella, this is a real life story. These are really things that happen to us. But the fact is, it's happened to me time and time again, and now it's happening to her. But understand this, they can try to bury us, but we will rise to the top.
Ladies and gentlemen, wrestling to the mat.
And your hosts, Gary Vaughn, Sean Garmer, and Paul Leeser.
Welcome, everybody, to Wrestling to the Max, episode 238, part 1. And yes, we are here via the W2Mnet.com. Also, if you're checking us out and you've subscribed or you haven't subscribed yet to Wrestling to the Max, go do that now, as well as the W2M Network if you want all the great stuff that we have on the site, all the other great podcasts that come with us. Trust me, great place to go. So we want you guys to also know if you want to go rate and review, hey, that's awesome for us too. So please don't forget that. We don't plug it a lot because we're not trying to, bug you about it. But, hey, it helps us out. Tonight we have a great show for you. That's why you want to go do all those things. And, of course, just to let you know, we're doing some shows that were over the weekend, like maybe the 15th anniversary for Ring of Honor. Yeah, that's right. We're talking about that tonight. I know we're a little bit later than in the week, but hey, we still get a chance to talk about it. I'm super stoked about talking about it. It was a pretty interesting show. We're also going to talk about this last week's Ring of Honor TV taping as well. So we're going to give you a little bit of more Ring of Honor than usual, and I'm glad about that. We got some good stuff for you. Also, we're going to do some quick hits tonight, which will include another sad passing of a wrestling superstar. We'll also be talking about a lot of TNA junk and things that are going on, and some of the Hardys and the rivalry we got right now. And trust me, Rebby Sky is ready to start that fire. And we also got some other great news when it comes to Impact and, of course, WB and things going on there. So you don't want to miss a minute of our quick hits. A lot of great stuff to talk about. Just before we get into the wrestling stuff, I got to let you know I am your host, Gary Vaughn, and with me is Mr. Sean Garmer.
What's up, everyone? And I'm sure everybody's just jacked to hear more Impact news.
Oh, you know it. And Mr. Paul Leeser is going to do it as well with us.
Yeah, I mean, everybody loves talking about a dumpster fire. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Zero, people. Zero.
Yeah, I know, right? I love the term dumpster fire. It kind of fits with it, and I heard over the weekend on the radio, I was listening to some sports radio, and they were talking about a fire dumpster as well. So I think both apply to what's going on.
Fire dumpster?
Yeah.
Wait, so...
Isn't that just an incinerator?
Yeah.
Exactly. It was a whole controversy on sports radio, so I had to bring it up. I'm sorry. But yeah.
Wait, were they arguing between whether it said dumpster fire or fire dumpster? Is that what?
Yeah, the guy botched like I do on most occasions.
Oh,
and
okay.
So, I mean, he screwed us saying up, and it became a whole controversy. So I thought it was hilarious. I wanted to bring it up. Oh, man. But, we've got lots of great stuff to talk about. I do want to let everybody know before we start talking wrestling news. We actually did a March Madness podcast, and, yeah, I know. We do this every year.
So it is going to show up in your WTM feed, so if that bothers you, you just don't have to listen to it.
Yeah, or just write us nasty letters. Those are fun, too. But, trust me, it's a lot of fun to listen to, and we had a great time doing it. So we want you to know about it if you did not. Like, for some reason you have not seen it, go check it out. It's just us kind of going on and on about stuff that we, I'll be honest with you, have no clue about sometimes. Some of it we do. I think Randy Isabel, who also joined us on that show, probably knows quite a bit more. But it's exciting and it's a lot of fun, so go check it out. But besides that, let's go ahead and get into all this great wrestling stuff we've got to talk about. We've got a lot to do, so let's go ahead and do this now. Quick Hits is next, guys.
It's time for wrestling news. Quick Hits.
Alrighty.
All right. Well, we always do this. We start with the sad stuff, and that will be the first thing on this docket, and that is Dennis Stamp passing away at the age of 68, and he'd lost his battle with cancer. This guy is honestly someone who I don't know a lot about. This is kind of like the outlaw Ron Bass that I didn't know much about on our last episode. It's kind of a shame I don't know much about him, but I mean, Paul, you could probably fill me in on what this guy's done.
Wrestling-wise, Dennis Stamp is famous for wrestling AWA, NWA days in the 70s and the 80s. More modern fans will probably recognize him from Beyond the Mat, where he outrageously said that he wasn't even booked, and that turned into a huge meme on the internet. So take what you will. It's still, another guy in wrestling dying, and I really want to stop talking about this.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the same guy. I didn't know it was the same guy from that because I forgot. That. So that's the dude that was talking to Terry Funk.
Yes.
Oh wow! I didn't put two and two together, Sean. I mean, wow.
Just to be transparent, he had stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, which he did successfully beat, but sadly the lymphoma took him from us a couple of days ago. He did write a book called The Stamp Collection, a collection of short stories from the world's most famous unknown wrestler. So that should tell you how much he thinks of himself there. But yeah, this is sad. Always to hear about wrestlers dying, whether they were giants like Dusty Rhodes and Roddy Piper, or they were, more of the, you really had to be in touch with wrestling back then to really know who they were, but still, just hate talking about this, and God, 2017, what's wrong with you, with the wrestlers? He is from Texas, though, too, Gary, so.
Oh, wow.
He's from Amarillo.
Cool. Oh, well, yeah, so no wonder he's friends with Terry Funk. So there you go, the Funks and their Amarillo wrestling for sure. Well, you said, I already said it. It's definitely sad, and we mention these guys' names. If you're listening and you're like, man, they mentioned a bunch of people we do this on purpose because, like Sean said, these are people that really did affect the wrestling business. They may not have been the big name, but they did have a part to play in making wrestling good and great at times. So we want to make sure we pay homage to those who passed on and who did something for the business of wrestling. Let's move on, and I'm not exactly sure this is a positive direction, but it's a direction at least that's been affecting a certain tag team now, and that tag team, to be exact, is the Hardy Boys, and we have all enjoyed everything the Hardys have done over the past year. This whole broken gimmick has really pushed them to the moon. It's just been something that's been entertaining. It's been fun. It's revamped the Hardy Boys so much. And now that they are no longer a part of Impact Wrestling, that is now in question. And what I mean by that is Impact Wrestling, who is now, of course, owned by that owl, right? Anthem.
F that owl.
Yeah, right. And we're going to get to that too. But, they are not really allowing the Hardys, or trying not to allow the Hardys, to do the broken gimmick. They want to keep that in-house in Impact and punish the Hardys for leaving, for not signing a cheap contract. They are punishing him by that way. Now the Hardy Boys, and Matt Hardy to be exact, is trying to do a trademark to keep the broken Matt Hardy name, all that kind of stuff, to keep what they're doing on a momentum and moving on, doing it in the indie circuit, of course, taking it to Ring of Honor where they signed a contract. Here's the situation, though. We've got now Rebby Sky getting on Twitter, spilling the beans about some of the stuff we may not have known behind the scenes. Everything that, the Hardy Boys have done, like that they paid for some of their own video packages, a lot of the different things. They even stayed with Impact Wrestling when Impact Wrestling wasn't doing much for them. So this is a whole thing, guys, and this is really a controversy because of this reason. It amped up this weekend with the 15th anniversary of Ring of Honor. And, of course, with that, the Hardys come into play because they are the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, and they were going to be involved in a triple threat match between the Young Bucks and, of course, Repugnant Vice, which we'll talk about that match later. That, of course, causes Impact a lot of worry. They say, well, they're taking the broken gimmick over there. They're going to sell pay-per-views using that gimmick. We don't like that. We're going to send a cease and desist order to every cable company, every satellite provider, and I'll tell them that if they play this, they could be in legal trouble with us because they're having their tag team do a gimmick that's actually ours. Well, Dish Network actually took the bait and said, okay, never mind. We're not playing the 15th anniversary. We're refunding all the money to all the fans who've already paid. Nope, not doing it. And then everybody else kind of did their own thing. I think they kind of blew off Anthem. This is a big deal, though, guys. I said all that to get to this. What do you feel about what's going on here? I think it's kind of crappy of Impact, but I kind of get where they're coming from in a way.
First of all, couldn't Matt Hardy just call him My Brother Nero, and they couldn't do anything about that because his middle name is Nero, and he is his brother.
Ooh.
That.
You could. It doesn't sound as great, but you're right. My Brother Nero, you throw in my, and that kind of changes it, but I don't know.
I'm just saying, I'm not trying to say that he should. I'm saying that, if you really wanted to get technical, Anthem really couldn't do anything about him going, well, that's my brother Nero over there. Just saying.
They could. I imagine you'd still want to play it safe if you don't want to end up in a lawsuit. Is really all they can say.
Well, yeah. I think the whole point is what happened on the pay-per-view, where they were making sure that they weren't getting, at least trying not to get the fans into the elite chants and the obsolete and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they very much downplayed it. You could still tell there were some mannerisms. Matt could not stop doing the laugh and all those fun things. And, they're still introduced as Matt and Jeff, the Hardys, and all that. So they very clearly did play it safe and sort of took a step back. It just really sucks that it interfered with them trying to sell it on Dish. They probably lost a fair bit of money.
I wonder if Dish really had a lot of buys, because I wonder if Dish would have had a lot of buys if they would have done what everybody else did.
You never know. I would think they probably lost something still. And it's probably substantial. They do charge. I think it's still $35 for Ring of Honor pay-per-views in HD.
Right.
I had Dish Network at one time. I did delete them, but this is a long time ago now. Just because they were really charging way too much for the service. I could get the same thing. It's cheaper, and also when it rained outside, I didn't lose service.
Obsolete service, you say?
Yes, there you go. I like it. But you know what? If you're a Dish customer right now, trust me, I'm always seeing Dish Network having all these issues. Well, we can't keep CBS because we don't want to pay CBS. We don't pay the NFL Network. Oh my God, Dish Network, what's going on here? So, if you're a customer right now and you're unhappy with your service, just do me a favor. Get a picture of the Hardys and say, Dish, I'm deleting you now. And, sign it, you suck or something. I just think that they, this was just childish, but Dish Network, they are very fearful. They don't like paying anybody, and they're scared to death. And I look at that as being, a little weird because everybody else was okay with it, but Dish Network's the one out. But here's the thing, though. I mean, really, do you see this thing going very far? I don't know what to say because if the Hardys can't have this gimmick because of Impact, I've heard different rumors. Okay, so I've heard that the Hardys can still do it, but they can't. They gotta play it like they did with this 50th anniversary match. They just kind of downplay it, don't do it as much, kind of do little things here and there, or Impact punishes them even more and makes their own version of the Hardys, right? They have some other guys come in as the broken gimmick and try to play it that way. I'm serious.
Fake Matt and fake Jeff, like
it's kind of like what
fake
WWF
Diesel
did.
and Razor.
Bring it on, baby. Bring it on. I want to see that. Let me see how
Well,
bad
I mean, they
that
can't
is.
get any worse. So, I should reiterate that Impact got a 0. So, they can't get any worse than what they did on their first week. So, why not, right? Like, just throw it all into the dumpster. And just...
Yeah, I mean, you're right. And we didn't even get to talk. Paul was not able to be on last Thursday. Paul, watching that first Impact, what did you think? The new regime is there.
No, the old regime is there.
Well, yeah, you want to be. Yeah, you're right. But still,
the new old regime is there. Yes, I liked very small parts of it. Like seeing new talent, I think is always cool. I'd never seen some of those guys before, like Reno Scum. So seeing them getting a chance to perform on TV is really great. The idea of them really dilly-dallying about with the TNA World title just infuriated me to no end. I was right there with Larry on that and just how much of a shitstorm that was. And the commentary just ruined the whole show of any enjoyment you could possibly have.
God, yes.
Man.
Josh Matthews was unbearable.
Best in the world, my ass.
And they made the Hardys look just stupid, right? I mean, they
the teleporting thing.
Yeah,
they tried to make them look idiotic, and I think that was on purpose. And yeah, that's all I can say. I just think it's indicative of what that score was when it comes to rating. 0. It was terrible.
Yeah, it was. The commentary was just really. And then you gave your new talent 6 minutes in total to wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
And you gave. I mean, Lashley's great, but you gave Lashley Patron about 15 minutes to put on a blah match. And then Patron just gets convinced by the officials to give up the title later. You gotta be shitting me! What? I mean, at least Bayley, fought for herself. So, Patron is Eddie Guerrero now. He just gives up on things. He won't. Patron is freaking a dude that thinks he's arrogant as crap. He's not going to give up that. That's totally just doesn't, go with his character.
Yeah, it doesn't at all.
Not to mention he said TNA about 20 times, so...
Yeah!
They were trying not to get anybody to say TNA, and he kept saying...
They mentioned WWE more.
Yep, that's true. I mean, I thought, man, I'm watching the wrong show. I need to turn this off and go to the WWE Network, because they're telling me all about things I guess I need to see. Yeah, the way Impact is going right now is not exactly the most positive, at least from this point.
Thank God that JB and Josh Matthews thing is only for 3 more weeks.
Oh, Jesus, we got more of that? I was hoping that would be over, oh, God. It's So yeah, let's.
I mean, I'm just glad it's not like a thing that's going on for the future of Impact or whatever. But still,
I don't know if I could take 3 weeks, guys. I really don't.
you're
Well, we'll
telling
see.
me, man.
Yeah, on our part 2 of this show, you'll know if it got any better. I'm a little bit nervous, but
I just love that the
Yeah.
ratings didn't go anywhere for the show.
they lost. Didn't they lose like 1,000 viewers compared to the week before?
Well, yeah, but that just shows how much like internet buzz means absolute zilch. Like we all talk about, oh, we all gave it a chance again, but apparently nobody did.
Yeah.
Nobody watch TNA, so.
Well, you know what it was is they didn't have Karen Jarrett on TV that week.
Oh God!
I mean, if Jeff just could have put her on TV, right? That's at least
one
what she
thing
thinks.
that will get me to turn it off.
Yeah. So.
It's Karen Jarrett.
Yeah. That's I'm a little bit shaken by that. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, overall, we kind of going back.
I do want to put that. Going back to your point, Revy Hardy did say, "Who the hell's going to work for you now? The GFW guys?" That's about.
Oh, expound on that, Paul. Sean, expound on about what Revy Hardy said because we all read it, but I mean, without reading everything that she said.
Well, I mean, yeah, she had like 23 freaking tweets. I mean,
yeah,
so,
it's
like,
ridiculous.
I
So
mean,
we're not going to read it.
She went off on them for just various things and like just a lot of the stuff you said, like just hey, we paid for those tapings, we paid a lot of the final deletion, all those the things that they had at the Hardy compound were largely paid for by them. That they stuck with them even though everybody knew it was a sinking ship because they believed in TNA, and then they get treated like the way they are. And, like the video package barely had, I mean, I think it had Kurt Angle like one time. And then, like, it barely had Jeff. And, like, I would get pissed at that too. Like, you're showing everybody that was old. And that was apparently great too, because you kept telling us that the whole show. Look how great we were. Look how much we suck now. Why do we need to keep watching if you tell me how much we suck? But it's like, she basically just, she told him like that, hey, even though, the gimmick was on your TV, we came up with it, everything. Like, just basically just really upset at the fact that they gave them Jeff gave them 7 years of his career. And, I mean, yeah, Jeff wasn't always great during those 7 years, let's be honest. But for the most part, he did great stuff for TNA. And, now they want to move on, and you guys got to be spiteful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Revy's whole rant here has a lot of validity, and there's a lot of things here out there I think, a majority of us probably would agree with. Because we could understand the old regime treating everything differently than maybe this new regime, but at the same point, this new regime still needs to respect that the Hardys have really been favorable to this company. They've done a lot of good things, and to kind of just say no thank you because you're not what we want to do. We want you around, but we want to pay you half of what you were getting, and we want you to sacrifice more. That doesn't work in business. I'm sorry. This is what we're at right now. So saying all that, I do want to bring us to the point of where we kind of started this thing, and that's about this gimmick, right? The Broken Hardys gimmick. And what Impact says is that Jeremy Borash actually had a lot to do with it. Borash is why that Matt even has this. So I think it's more of a thing where they worked on it together. I don't think that Borash came up with this just by himself, his own genius or anything like that. And I think Matt Hardy would even come and tell you that himself. So saying that, how much really does Impact own of this thing? I mean, just because Borash works for him, does it really mean that they own this thing? I don't know. It's kind of a slippery slope for me.
Man, I would say they really probably didn't have a whole time. If you only have one guy back there and the rest of it's really on the Hardys, and then you just sort of pick it up, it's the Hardy Boys gimmick. I think it's pretty I don't want to say it's obvious, but I feel like they would stand a good chance of winning.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
what do you think, John?
I think Anthem. The thing is, like, Anthem has it was created under our TV, which is what WWE uses a lot. You know, the whole, hey, it was created on our platform, on our TV. They shouldn't have the rights to it, and WWE usually wins using that. The thing is that WWE also doesn't allow them to go on to other shows that are not under the WWE banner and let them use that gimmick. Now, the thing is, Anthem can say, well, we didn't own TNA during that time, so that oversight would not have happened under our watch. You know, or whatever they want to come up with. I don't know how they can finagle that, but there's probably a legal term where they could say, well, Dixie was stupid and didn't realize what she was doing, but if we were in charge at the time, we would have never allowed for that to happen, and whatever, you know. So I don't know how that's going to work, but I dread that Anthem's probably going to win.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And it sucks because I wonder how that affects them. I mean, it looks like they already signed a deal with WWE, but I wonder if I'm sure that they would have that Vince would have wanted them regardless. But I wonder how much of that is because they got popular with this gimmick. But we also know how Vince is about how, well, this isn't mine, so I don't really care, and so I don't know. I'm rambling, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like this would have reinvigorated them on that stage. You know, you already had fans chanting delete.
Yeah,
that's true. I mean, WWE, I think the Hardys wanted to do it on the big stage, and obviously whether they get to do it now or not is surely in question. Let's hope for the best, though.
Yeah, for sure. So, we'll keep following this story. I mean, there's going to be a lot more, I'm sure, in the near future. We'll follow the whole trademark thing with Matt, and of course, how this all is going to work out. And of course, how the sales of those T-shirts, F that owl, will go. I think all three of us would like that.
Before we get out of here,
sold the first run.
Oh, go ahead.
I think Paul's microphone's messing up a little bit here.
Paul's microphone's it sounds like it's taking a tumble down the stairs.
I know. It may be loose. The connection may be a little loose. So we got you, Paul?
F that.
We're still missing it. Maybe we can get him to disconnect or connect it back in. Maybe that could be an issue.
I don't know what's going on here, but
yeah, a little audio issue.
Before we get out of here, I did want to say that apparently Gail Kim said that even though she's not officially signed, she hopes to re-sign with Impact soon.
Oh, so that's interesting for the fact that you'd think she'd be exploring other options, but I guess.
I just don't. Honestly, Gail Kim's done 2 terms of service with WWE. I think she kind of feels like, even if they were to talk to her, would they respect her anymore at this point? Mm-hmm. And I kind of feel for her in that way, that, like, it doesn't matter how much WWE changes as far as their outlook on women, will they change their outlook on Gail Kim? And that's always hard to say, because at the end of the day, Vince is still the one that makes the decisions,
Yeah, exactly. So we got you, Paul? Oh, man. I'm not sure what's going on with this microphone right now. Hopefully we'll be able to fix that. But yeah, Sean, you're right. Gail Kim, that whole situation would be interesting to see when she does resign and how that all takes place. I just do want to mention also, Impact is going to be doing some TV tapings in India, in Mumbai to be exact, and they'll be looking to use some local talents there as well. This is nothing new or out of the ordinary. They've done this before. But I think they're
you know what that means, Gary.
Yes, I know. Mahabaleshwara, all that.
Yeah, we're going to get a bunch of Mahabaleshwara.
Oh,
probably
man.
Great Khali, too.
Yeah. Yay! Oh God.
The
I don't
Punjabi
know.
Playboy back on TV, guys. We need to.
Oh man. So yeah.
We need the kiss cam again.
Paul,
Please,
you
God,
can't-
no.
Oh man. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
he'll be leading everybody in the dance this time. Like, people will actually do it, maybe in India.
what's their obsession with India, Paul?
Well,
love this
it's
place.
part of their contract.
Right, they have a huge TV deal with Sony 6 over there. That's been a big part of their of how they make money. They've tried launching a promotion over there with Rinka King, which it's apparently back in talks to either start a new promotion or something like that to give more Indian talent a platform to perform on. A lot of companies see India as this big untapped market, and TNA has always been one of those.
Yeah. I understand, and that makes a lot of sense. It's just it just kind of boggles my mind. They focus so much on India, and of course, I guess if it's making money, you got to. But I just thought they'd try to find other areas and maybe some other places to invest some time in. But hey, you got to do what's making you that dollar. So, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty much what we got going on in Impact there. And so we'll move on and talk about some other things that are kind of.
I just want to interject with this
Go
tweet here.
Mhm.
So Joey Ryan says that WWE keeps airing Rick Rude footage. The new generation of wrestling fans are going to realize how much I blatantly stole from him. So,
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's
Wouldn't
kind
say
of
that's
obvious.
entirely true.
It's and now I'm looking at stuff that Rey Mysterio is apparently talking to Impact Wrestling people.
Really? Oh.
I mean,
There
he
you
couldn't
go.
sign until I think October or something. But hey, let's get more old guys.
Yeah.
Impact,
Exactly.
That's what we need.
Then you can give him the title and take it away from him immediately.
No, you'll just have like 20 Alberto or Patron and Rey Mysterio matches. That's what the one
Oh,
they're doing.
Jesus. And just we'll hear Pero like every other minute. Pero. Golly, man. It just amazes me.
I love my dog too, but I don't just go dog, dog, dog,
Mhm.
dog, dog, all this.
It's ridiculous. But yeah, I think that's all the Impact we can handle. I think we've got to
Thank
move
God.
away from a little bit of this Impact talk. Let's talk about the Warrior Award. I'm really curious what you guys have to say about this. They announced this last Monday Night Raw who is actually going to be getting that award. Eric Legrand is going to be taking that award, and he's a former Rutgers player who was paralyzed in a football game. And now, he's fought his way back. He's, worked his way into a situation where he's still in a wheelchair, but he's able to do some physical therapy. He's in a lot better place than he started. And, of course, he's also a speaker, a public speaker, and talk about his experiences and overcoming and things like that. So I'm really happy for this guy. He's a lifelong WWE fan, apparently. How do you guys feel about this? It's kind of hard to say you don't agree, I guess, in a way, but it's interesting how they're choosing and what they're choosing. We've seen, cancer victim. Now we're seeing someone who's been paralyzed, things like that.
I think, you're seeing what they want the Warrior Award to be about, which is reaching out and sort of philanthropy and stories of hope and big comebacks and all these other things. And it's fine, I guess, for what it is. It's a way to spotlight charity in a way, almost, of them recognizing these people who have suffered through a great deal and have either come out on the other end brighter or tragically died, and of bringing attention to certain issues in society and whatever. And it's cool and all, and I won't begrudge them for using their platform this way, but I don't know. It's a wrestling Hall of Fame. It's what it's supposed to be, but gimmicks seem to be inescapable. Congratulations to Eric, though. I don't want it to seem like I'm bitter about this or anything. The guy is a miraculous story and something that we've seen ESPN and tons of other news outlets cover. And the guy is certainly an inspiration.
Yeah, for certain. You know, what's interesting about this is, it's hard to go against something where, someone's overcame an illness or an injury or a, life-changing event. It really is hard to go against that. So as much as the Ultimate Warrior wanted this award to be about, people even in that situation, but also about people behind the scenes, I think the Warrior Award works for this kind of thing. Would you ever like to see another award, Sean, where they do kind of, maybe celebrate some people behind the scenes, some guys that may just don't get the shine that they need to get in front of the crowd?
Exactly. That's what the Warrior War was for, and that's what I wanted to see. Like, I wanted to see some. Maybe nobody knows who the hell they are. That come up there and talk for a little bit, or they don't get to talk, or maybe they don't talk at all. They just get the award, they say a few things, and they get off, to let it be more about the people you do know, but at least they get to walk up there and be presented and be talked about, and they get the little video package and stuff of what they did for the company, and that's cool, because some of these guys, like even the announcers get part of the the Wrestling Hall of Fame thing. So but I mean the producers, and not Kevin Dunn, but I'm sure he will get his spot.
He'd be the first one up there, man.
Oh, you know it.
Yeah, you know it. But I mean, let's be honest. There was a time where what he did was actually, fine. Just now it's way too outdated. But it's just the production people, the people in the truck, the makeup people, all the people you don't ever hear about. It'd be cool for them to finally get their moment.
Yeah, I know. I totally agree. And guys like Harvey Whippleman, who are backstage doing little things and kind of helping along with things that, may not be important to other people, but he, helps get things done. That's kind of neat. To have guys like that get an opportunity to get up there and be celebrated. So
the former women's champion.
I know. See, he's done all sorts of great things, and he doesn't get the love. I mean, come on. But yeah, no, I just wanted to mention that. I mean, I think, once again, congratulations to Eric Legrand on his, upcoming induction into the WWE, Hall of Fame as a Warrior Award recipient. But yeah, we'll move on past that, and let's talk about some other interesting news that we got going on. Cedric Alexander, well, this will be rapid hits. We'll just kind of run through these because we have quite a few that maybe not long topics, but we can kind of talk about. Cedric Alexander is injured. He hurt his knee, and he's going to be out at least 3 to 5 months.
That sucks. He's such a great athlete, and it's a bad time, too, whenever everybody's still trying to stick their claim in the Cruiserweight division, and now he's going to be out a long period of time to where he can't do that.
I was wondering why we hadn't seen him on TV for a while. That sucks.
Vampiro is now taking over head of talent relations for Lucha Underground.
Yeah, sort of solidifying his role. He's already gotten that role in AAA, and now he's got it for Lucha Underground. So, sort of becoming the go-to guy, no matter where you look in the AAA umbrella.
Yeah, good for him, and good that they kind of got this all, got it together. Let's see if this actually works as a great thing for AAA.
Hideo Itami made his NXT return on March 11th at a house show.
Yay! I'm excited. I really stay healthy, and let's see if you can finally make it to the top or not. Plus, I need to see that match with Shinsuke in NXT before he goes up. It needs to happen.
Please don't get hurt again.
The first WWE UK shows have been announced, and those shows will be taking place on May 6th and, of course, the 7th.
It's a double shot. They didn't announce if it's going to be taped for the actual show they're going to be producing for the network or not, but this is the first official shows under the UK umbrella, so exciting stuff.
Yeah, this is, it's really cool to get to see this. I mean, it's gonna be on Sky TV, though. I wonder if this is sort of like are we gonna get it on the network, or is this only gonna be in England, and we're gonna have to do the whole, like what Gary and I did that first year that NXT was sort of before it became what it is now, where we had to wait until it showed up on YouTube or whatever to be able to watch it. Gonna be interesting.
Yeah, it will be interesting for sure. Cody Hall has signed with Pro Wrestling's Noah.
Yeah, so he was let go from New Japan last year. He finds his way to Noah now. This is great for him. He's going to get a much bigger it's a smaller platform, but he's going to have more time to work and grow as a wrestler here in Noah. So I think it's a good signing.
Yeah, this is interesting for him. Like, Paul and I were talking this off air, that in New Japan he was never really going to get that opportunity with so many Gaijins getting signed, and just the crop of young lions are now a bunch of heavyweights for the most part, or at least the ones they really want to showcase now. He was going to be stuck in that, where do we put you? And I think in Noah he's going to get a lot more time to really be able to shine and get more seasoning, and who knows, again, being Scott Hall's son has a lot of benefits, so he could still show up in NXT at some point.
We have Leo Kruger, or better known as Adam Rose, leaving wrestling at the end of 2017.
Yeah, he didn't, as far as I saw, he didn't have a specific reason why. I just assumed the money just isn't as good when you're outside WWE, but certainly sucks. The guy has a lot of talent. It's going to be sad to see him go.
Yeah, always sad to hear that somebody has to quit wrestling or whatever. It's one of those stories of not everybody makes it after you leave WWE, and I feel for his kid,
Yeah, for sure.
How's that going to affect him?
This could be a big thing for that reason, because he may be trying to find a job or an opportunity that does give him really good health benefits that helps this kid, because he's got a lot of health issues, and I'm sure that insurance isn't cheap because of all the issues he's having. So, and before we do get out of quick heads, I just want to ask Paul really, really quickly. The microphone issues kind of affected us from hearing. Now, what was the T-shirt sales that first week?
Oh, they sold out of the first print run of T-shirts that they made for the F That L thing, which they had 500. They sold out in under a day.
Wow. Yeah. So it's definitely popular. So I encourage all of you to wear that to the next Impact tapings. So I just think it'd be hilarious to see them try to blur out that many people.
Well, I don't know if you guys are going to think this is hilarious or not, but Impact is promoting for the show on Thursday Brandy Rhodes' first singles match.
Who is she going to be injuring?
It doesn't say. It just says tune into Impact for her first singles match. Yeah, that just totally sounds like a seller right there. Are we really watching Impact for Brandy Rhodes' first singles match? I mean, I don't know if she should be wrestling right now.
I think maybe the only way you're getting people is maybe if it's just a screenshot and the words are there, but they're not even focused on that. I think that's the way you sell people on it. Outside of that, I don't know. We'll see. I can't wait to see this rating this week on Impact. It's going to be a lot of fun. And, of course, if you want to hear us talk Impact, trust me, we'll be talking about that Friday morning on the download. But let's talk about something other than Impact. Let's go ahead and move on to Ring of Honor because we've got a great pay-per-view to review, and that is the 15th anniversary show the Ring of Honor had this past weekend. And of course, we'll be also talking about the Ring of Honor TV taping from this week. So let's go ahead and do that now.
Alrighty, guys.
All right, Paul, take it away.
Uh-oh.
Oh, we lose Paul? I did not hear him.
Oh, that's not good.
No. All of a sudden,
I can't really help you, Gary.
I know. It's okay. I just thought it was kind of funny because I thought Paul was there, and all of a sudden he disappeared on us. But that's okay. We'll get through this. We'll run to this card. Let me pull my card up here really quickly.
It's showing him as offline.
Oh, wow. He must have lost something in the... something may have happened to him. So let's go ahead and look through here. I'm sorry, everyone. Well, I will stall for just a second because I will be looking up this Ring of Honor card as I scroll down to find it. Because Paul usually installs these, and I didn't have it ready.
So are you doing the TV or are you doing the pay-per-view?
You know what? Until we get Paul back on, let's just do the TV taping really quickly here. Do you have it in front of you, Sean?
I have the TV. Yeah, what he wrote here.
Okay, just go ahead and I'll talk about it.
So this is This is still before the pay-per-view, so it kind of makes sense that you do the TV first. You got Shahem Ali and LSG of Coast to Coast against the Young Bucks. This seems like a solid match. Seems like Coast to Coast are getting better, but Young Bucks.
Coast to Coast. Yeah, they are getting better, and they're a team that we're getting affiliated with and understanding who they are, and I'm excited about what they can do. They had a pretty decent match here with the Young Bucks. This was all about the Young Bucks. Let's be honest, though. They did their normal shtick, of course, the super kick party stuff and all that. So nothing way out of the ordinary here. You expected the Young Bucks to win.
Yeah, certainly. After this, you have Lio Rush getting an interview where he talks about the rebellion and how they don't have any direction and they like playing games. Well, now you know who you're dealing with. Kenny King calls Lio ungrateful and for giving up his opportunity to kind of be with them. And basically, Kenny King and Lio Rush are going to have a match at the pay-per-view that we're going to, that Paul and Gary are hopefully going to talk about. And yeah,
you know what? This whole interview. Yeah, the interview was, okay. You get a little bit of what you wanted to get, and that's Lio Rush explaining himself because, we saw Lio Rush and act like he was going to join up with Kenny King and his buddies, Caprice Coleman, and, be a part of their group. But, now you understand that he wanted to do, this because of the fact that, they, kept trying to get him along board and started to distract him and all this kind of stuff. And Kenny King's just like, man, we gave you a great opportunity, and just is really trying to push it. So this is kind of leading us just to, a situation where we got Kenny King and Lio Rush in this little feud. But I can't say it was over amazing or anything like that. But at least we get a little bit more explanation out of Lio Rush. That's pretty much what matters here outside of the Kenny King part.
True that, sir. You get the top prospect tournament, Kurt Stallion, and taking on Preston Quinn. This was a decent match. Not anything. It's kind of like just there for both guys. And I think Kurt Stallion wins.
Yeah.
So
Kurt Stallion wins, and it's a little bit of a surprise, and I'll say it this way: Stallion is he's a not a smaller guy. I want to say, just think of Heath Slater. Kind of reminds me of Heath Slater, to be honest with you. And he may be a little taller than Slater, if I remember correctly. But he was very much like that. And, of course, Quinn is this big kind of, I would even say redneck type guy, of course, with a, kind of sleazy looking manager. And they do all those gimmicks of the manager gets involved and all that to try to help, Quinn win. But in the end, Stallion finds a way to roll this guy up, even though he's bigger than him, and win. So it's kind of a sneaky win to get Stallion over here. But I think Quinn looked pretty good throughout this. And I really like the gimmick and all that. Of course, it's a little cheesy, but at the same point, it's a lot of fun to watch. And Stallion, I think, he's a good young prospect, but he's a little generic for my taste, to be honest with you. He doesn't really, persuade me into just falling head over heels for what he's doing here. So I can hear Paul. Hopefully, Paul's back. I can hear his microphone a little bit here. I think he's trying to get back on board with us here.
I felt the opposite of you in this one. I followed Kurt Stallion a little bit since I've become acquainted with him from VIP Wrestling here in Dallas. He's also huge in Anarchy Wrestling over in Austin, and he works a ton of other places too. I really like Kurt Stallion a lot. I didn't find Preston Quinn or his whole act to be overly impressive. He felt like just another generic big guy to me, and the crowd eventually got behind Kurt Stallion. I will agree with you. This was not a great way to showcase Kurt Stallion. I think that's what the next match is going to be about in this match with John Kyler.
Yeah. You're still having a few mic problems. I don't know if you may have to unplug and plug back in. There you go. I hear you a little clearer now. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on here. But I mean, Paul, I have not really followed Stallion, so I don't know anything about him. So maybe that's where I'm coming from. Like I said, the Quinn thing he's cheesy. It's goofy. It doesn't, but I think sometimes that wins me over a little bit, But that's okay. I think both these guys are good. I think they have something to offer Ring of Honor. So.
Well,
Hello?
Yep. Hear
Okay.
you. Yay.
Now you're back.
I agree with you. They both present something. I think Kurt Stallion has a ton of upside, though. He's a great wrestler.
All right. So, did you want to take it from here, Paul, or do you want Sean to keep running it down?
I can keep going. No big deal. So next up we have Cody Rhodes coming out. He grabs the microphone and he says he's looking for Jay Lethal and wonders if anybody has seen him recently because he hasn't. Ever since he kicked Jay in the balls at Final Battle, Jay Lethal has turned into Lazy Jay. So he brings out Adam Page, who unties his noose, gives it to Cody, and Cody then challenges Jay Lethal to a Texas Bull Rope match at Supercard of Honor. It's a promo. It's nothing overly great, though.
I think the most significant thing here is are they really going to use the exact bell? Are they really going to use the exact cowbell from 1977, or is this a gimmick thing where they're saying it is and it's really not? If it's really real, it brings something to this. If not, this is just wasting my time. It's cool that they set the match up, but outside of that, it's just kind of like,
Yeah. It's a little generic on Cody's part. I'd be interested to see the match, just because I like their one from Final Battle a whole bunch, but this promo didn't really do anything to get you all jazzed up for it. Jay Briscoe then goes on to hype his rematch with Jay White, which is going down next week. And then we get Jonathan Gresham taking on Dalton Castle. I don't know about you, Gary. I really enjoyed this a whole lot. Gresham got to look inventive. He got to show off what makes him different from everybody against the most different person in Ring of Honor, Dalton Castle. Dalton eventually does get his hands on him after Gresham remains scrappy for most of the match, puts him away with the Bangarang.
I'm agreeing with you on this because I think Gresham continues to impress me over and over again. And just when I think that he's, a good wrestler, but he kind of sticks to a formula, he changes it up a little bit. And it's not the exact same that I've seen before in other matches. So, and of course, Dalton Castle is one of my favorites right now in wrestling. So I don't think you could have gone wrong with this matchup. And they definitely proved it in the ring. gave you a great showing here. I was really happy what we got. Dalton Castle getting a victory, it only makes sense because he's kind of the guy that's more over right now. But outside of that, Gresham, I mean, honestly, won too. I don't think he, lost in my eyes at all. I just think on the record books he lost.
Yeah, I mean, he looked really good in this match and got more than his fair share of offense. And I mean, Dalton getting the win here makes sense too. He's got that world title match coming to him at Supercard of Honor. So main event time: BJ Whitmer teams up with Punishment Martinez, take on War Machine. Absolutely unbelievable brawl here. We get Hanson cannonballing off the stage onto everybody. He hits a sick-ass whoopee cushion on Punishment Martinez after he sits him out in a chair. They go back and forth for a good long while, but Punishment and BJ end up going over after Martinez hits a choke slam on, I believe, Ray Rowe through the table. And then after the match, BJ comes in and sort of celebrates all the work that Punishment did. Punishment don't like that, so he lays BJ out with a sit-out chokeslam.
I was actually kind of happy to see this. And,
yeah, me
too. Maybe people hate Whitmer. Maybe that's why Paul hates it. But it's the fact that I love Punisher Martinez. I really do. One of my favorites in Ring of Honor, and maybe for my own weird, sick reason, but I think he's great. And he's not the best wrestler on the entire roster, but he's just a talent that I think has something to offer that's just a little bit different than everybody else. He's a bruiser. He's a tough guy. He's intimidating. I love everything about the guy. So this entire match was a lot of fun to watch. It was not disappointing. It was a match that I think, you could honestly say it was fitting to be a main event. Mm-hmm. But, when you have some of the hardcore stuff in the play, you have to take away the whole, hey, that was a good chain wrestling match or anything like that. No, it wasn't about that. It was about some of this crazy stuff, especially when you have such hard hitters in this, match. It's going to be like that. So overall, I'm fine with the ending, and I'm really happy with the way, Punisher Martinez looks like he's splitting up. It's no longer going to be a thing for him and Whitmer, and I'm happy.
Yeah, I mean, he's really come along. He has this match under his belt, which obviously this took place before Manhattan Mayhem and the 15th anniversary show, which we're going to talk about next. But he had that great match with Goto at Honor Rising, and he has a super impressive performance at the 15th anniversary too. So, but that's your Ring of Honor for the week. Hopefully, we'll start getting to those tapings that take place after the 15th anniversary show sooner rather than later.
Yeah. So there you go. But yeah, we need to talk about that 15th anniversary show. So let's go ahead and just jump right into this thing, Paul, and let's get into some of this great stuff we have to talk about.
Yeah, so they opened the show with Jay White taking on Kenny King. Very athletic contest. It's a little... I don't want to say it underperforms, because I think it does a great job as an opener. Jay White defeats Kenny with Kiwi Crusher. He continues to look impressive. I know me and Gary were talking about this show somewhat off air after we finished Raw last night. You said that this disappointed you a little bit, Gary.
Yeah, it did. And the reason I'm saying it disappointed me is not because these guys aren't, doing all they can in this match. But I think it's for the fact that we had a match that I think just kind of underwhelmed me for the fact that I think I expected a little bit more out of Jay White, and I thought Kenny King would be a good match for him. I don't think they did a bad job. I just think that I oversold it in my mind, to be honest with you. I think it's a fine opener, like Paul pointed out. I just don't think it was the match I was kind of expecting. I kind of had maybe some... I really had some really high expectations for this, I think. So,
yeah. Did you watch the show, Sean, or... Guess not. Okay.
Yeah, Sean put himself on mute. There he goes.
I did not get a chance to watch it. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, that's fine. Just wanted to make sure. The next match is a six-man Mayhem Ring of Honor TV title #1 contenders match featuring Frankie Kazarian, Hangman Page, Chris Sabin, Punisher Martinez, Cheeseburger, and Silas Young. This is a great match. Very fun sprint. Kazarian still working the Bullet Club stuff here. Obviously, him and Page work together, and Kazarian even wins because he has Hangman Page sort of taking people out for him. And I tell you, nobody looked as impressive in this match as Punishment Martinez. He hits a lot of big moves very well. He gets a lot of the big dives. He's taking people out left and right. Silas Young looks really good in this too. He gets in his usual stuff, but I think Punisher Martinez really comes out of this with a lot more shine on him than he had coming in.
I know, I totally agree with you. I mean, there's a reason I loved it, and it is because, once again, Punisher Martinez is one of my favorite guys in Ring of Honor. I will say this, though. I mean, I think everybody got a chance to look good in this match.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't think there's anybody in this entire match. Maybe Chris Sabin didn't get as much as everybody else. Maybe that's the one guy I can point out and say, okay, he got some, but he didn't get as much as some other guys. Cheeseburger even got plenty, right? I mean,
yeah.
So, I mean, I think overall they did a good job of showcasing all the talent here. Punisher Martinez really got a chance to showcase his power, his intensity. They like this guy, obviously. And they have a direction maybe for him. I don't know. They haven't really pointed out where they're going with it. But I think they do have him in their sights to be something special in this company because of the way he did kind of dominate at times. Really happy to see, the way that we did have Hangman and Page and, of course, Kazarian work together. That really kind of made you really believe in their bond. That, that Kazarian really is full-fledged Bullet Club, all that kind of stuff. I think that really kind of helped set that mindset with the fans and the crowd as well. So overall, like a really good match, and everybody got a chance to come out of this looking pretty decent.
Absolutely. And the good matches just keep on coming. Jay Lethal takes on Bobby Fish in a top contenders match. Lethal does defeat Bobby Fish. So now he's in line for another Ring of Honor title match. But this is really, really good. It's one of those, if you're into New Japan or any sort of Puroresu, you have a match that's very easy to get into because they start out slow, they build it up, it hits that crescendo real nicely, and Jay Lethal ends up taking home with the lethal injection.
I want to say this. I love some of the chemistry that these two guys had, but not only that, I love the way that they kind of paced themselves throughout this match. I love the fact that they also gave Bobby Fish an opportunity to look unstoppable at times.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they kept mentioning his martial arts style and the way he was using his legs in this match, and the fact that he was attacking the chest of Jay Lethal on a pretty regular basis at the start of this. And, I mean, it just kind of brought you to the point to where you said to yourself, this is about Bobby Fish. He's going to win this. Sure, Jay Lethal got...
Well, that's not good. I think we lost Gary.
Heck of all the times.
Skype is our worst enemy this evening, it seems.
Yeah, really.
So, I mean, I guess there's nothing to do with Soldier On. So next up, we have the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team titles on the line. The Kingdom defend against Dalton Castle and the Boys. Not exactly what I thought it was going to be, and probably something that got cut short due to TK O'Ryan doing a springboard moonsault on the onto a bunch of guys on the outside. He ends up hitting both of his shins across the guardrail even, and breaks his his left shin. It's serious enough
Ouch.
to where he picks his leg up and you can see it wobble. It's pretty disgusting. I don't think they really gave a chance for the Boys to really have a coming out party or anything like that. But the Kingdom, before the injury, still looked just as strong, and they do end up winning this. Although you do have to wonder now with TK O'Ryan breaking his shin and being out for what I assume is going to be a good enough amount of time to where they're going to have to drop the belts when and where that's going to happen.
Yeah, you'd have to imagine that their days are kind of numbered as far as trios champions, unless they're going to have them, just the two of them defend it. We have seen that happen before. Just that's kind of sad for Orion, period. That really sucks. You're just coming over, right about to be close to the finish. You're coming to do the big dive. You hit the barricade and break your shin. It's just, ugh.
Yeah, it's awful. And just when I think the Kingdom as an act was really starting to come together and start cooking, they had this happen. Even after the match, you can see it on Matt Taven's face that he is really kind of upset with the situation, just because he already knows that bad stuff's going to be coming the Kingdom's way as far as their momentum and all that good stuff. So, after that, we have the Ring of Honor television title match. Marty Scurll defends against Lio Rush. This is an incredible match too. Lio really does a great job of outperforming himself every single time he comes out there, and him and Scurll, I think, have a lot of chemistry together. They play up Rush's inexperience in this match, as he doesn't seemingly go for the pin when he should, looking to keep finding that next move to keep Marty down, and he never really finds it. And Marty ends up coming out of this, making Lio tap to the chicken wing. A little long for my taste, but Marty does retain here, which I think is the right call. He's been fire really since he's come into Ring of Honor.
Yeah, Marty. I didn't think Marty should or would lose this match at all. You know, hearing you guys talk about it and all that, just again, this dude delivers every time. Lio Rush has been awesome in ROH, so I think we shouldn't have expected anything less here.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, you shave, and like I said, this might have gotten more time because the previous match ended a little sooner than I imagined with the injury, but I think you shave about 3 or 4 minutes off. You got yourself a 4.5 easy here. They follow that up. The Briscoes and Bully Ray team up to take on Davey Boy Smith Jr. and War Machine. The one thing I really liked about this match is they did not discount Killer Elite Squad's problems that they had a couple of years ago with War Machine. And they even brought up the War Machine challenge for the IWGP Tag Team titles that they have made over in New Japan, and how that sort of ruffled Davey Boy's feathers a little bit now that Lance Archer is out for some time with the back surgery and everything. So they have all that sort of creep up, and it plays into them losing as the Briscoes and Bully Ray do defeat them. If I remember correctly, I believe Bully gets the pin. But it's a perfectly fine 6-man match. Lots of brawling, lots of big hits, as you would expect from all these guys involved.
Yeah, and I mean, the good thing is, Bully Ray kind of, it wasn't all about him. They let the Briscoes sort of, Briscoes kind of took charge, but Bully still had his moments where, he was obviously a big part of it. And, hey, Davey Boy also got to look good here, and that's the important part, that everything kind of worked well.
Yeah, I mean, with Archer being out, to focus on Davey Boy a little here, I really would love to see him get a never open-weight title match against Hiroki Goto. I think that could be some hot fire they could cook with for a while.
That'd be great.
So awesome.
Please do this, Goto, please.
Yeah, you got to do something with him. I think that's the perfect opportunity. Let's talk about this co-main event. The Ring of Honor Tag Team titles are on the line in a Las Vegas street fight. The the Hardys in this case, things can't really do the broken thing all that much, defend against the Young Bucks and Roppongi Vice. This is all kinds of awesome, in my opinion. You have a whole ton of high spots. You have Trent Beretta once again outperforming everybody when nobody expects him to. He takes all the big bumps. He takes super kicks with thumbtacks in his mouth. I mean, yeah, the dude pretty much gave away his life in this one, and it's great. The Hardys end up pinning him after the Twist of Fate, Senton Bomb combination, but the Young Bucks more than get their fair share in, and a lot of the early match is predicated on them sort of discounting Roppongi Vice to focus on beating each other up. So, I love, this is a match of the year candidate for me. This was incredible match.
Yeah, totally. incredible here. I'm going to have to see if I can add Gary without this causing too much of a fuss here. I hope. But yeah, I mean, there's so much stuff going on. Super kicks everywhere. Like are you there?
Yeah.
Oh.
So guys, this computer decided it wanted to update without asking me. Okay.
Oh, my computer likes to do that too. Trust me, it sucks.
So where are we at?
We're
talking the tag title match.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what did I miss? Okay, so I was talking about something about
we were on Lethal and Bobby when you got disconnected.
So everybody kind of heard what I was talking about with that. I really enjoyed that match overall, though, Paul. Both those guys went through hell. Mm-hmm. Both of them just put their bodies out there. Lethal winning was a little bit of a surprise. I thought Bobby Fish was going to take it. I'm happy with Lethal, though. I've been waiting for him to get back in that picture of being relevant again. It's kind of like he got put out of by the wayside for a little while. Happy about it. Good match. I really enjoyed it.
And then after that, we have the 6-man titles and the TV title match, if you want to talk about those two.
So the Scroll, I mean, that was a lot of fun to watch, too. Those two guys really fought it out, did a good job. I love the fact that Leo Rush, I mean, really gave Scroll a run for his money. I mean, honestly, I thought if anyone could take the TV title away, it was going to be Leo. I really believed it.
Oh, man. God.
Oh, man, the internet is just not our friend today. Good Lord.
No, it just says user not online. Oh, jeez. Okay. Well, God. That's Tag Title Street Fight is amazing. Seriously, you need to go watch that. I need to go watch this, but from the highlights I've seen, there's just so much stuff going on. The Hardys deliver in spades. Of course, the Young Bucks are always great in these kinds of things, honestly. And, hey, you don't ever discount Roppongi Vice because, as Paul alluded to, Trent Beretta doesn't get enough love. And I end up giving a lot of love to Rocky a lot of times. But, yeah, we should give more love to Trent because he always pulls his weight, that man.
Yeah, I mean, I forgot to mention that Rocky pulls out an arm sleeve full of thumbtacks and uses it for the forever clothesline back and forth, which is great and looks painful all at the same time.
And boy, did it look painful. That was scary. That sleeve was sick looking.
Yeah. So many things probably could have gone, especially if he aims high. There could have been some problems.
Yeah. Oh, man, are you telling me? And this ended up being a TLC match, right? I mean,
pretty much. It was a street fight, but
yeah, but with the Hardys involved, just like the crowd, it's like TLC. And I really thought, the Hardys were going to win this. I really didn't believe it was going to be Roppongi Vice or really the Young Bucks, but I think they put on a good match here. I think this was one that, had all your bells and whistles that you wanted to see, right? And I think for the most part it was good. I can't say it was overly just like, oh man, I jumped out of my seat that I loved every bit of it, but it was really good, and it was a solid match. It was everything you wanted to see, and I do love the fact that the Hardys took the Super Kick titles too at the end of this match. So it was kind of an added kick in the face to the Young Bucks in a way, if you want to say that.
Yeah, I mean they're out there still in that expedition for gold, and they won this one, so they took the Young Bucks Super Kick titles, and they've sort of taken everything from them. And the Young Bucks, if you don't follow them on Twitter, were absolute, like, the amount of distress they were in on Twitter is just awesome.
Oh, it's beautiful. So
yeah, it's great.
I'm sorry, I got disconnected again. I don't know what's going on tonight. We are having crazy problems. Really quickly, I want to say that 6-man match that I didn't mention with Dalton Castle and the Boys and the Kingdom. All you need to know is the Kingdom won. Dalton Castle, once again, like I talked about in the preview, he did a good job. The boys did fine. It's just that they're not good enough. They're just not going to beat the Kingdom. I'm sorry. You know, as much as you may like Dalton Castle, they're not going to win. That's the way it worked out. Dalton Castle could not win this match for the Kingdom. That was the six-man you were alluding to, right, Paul?
Yeah, you could talk about the Briscoes and Bully Ray versus Davey Boy and War Machine, too, if you want.
Okay, yeah, just really quickly, that was a fine match, too. I really don't have overly a lot to say about it. It was a pretty fun match to watch, but it was nothing just super like, oh, man, I can't believe this or that. It was just kind of fun to see, you know, Bully Ray back. I mean, overall. So, and I loved it. They did the whole, you know, the 3D, I mean, to end this match. That was kind of fun. So, yeah, good stuff out of that. I don't think it was anything super spectacular, but good stuff.
Yeah. So let's talk about this big main event. Adam Cole defending the ROH World Title against Christopher Daniels. Back and forth for a long time. It's not amazingly over-the-top wrestling. It is, however, great wrestling. And I really don't want to discount the storyline factor in this because they play into all that a lot, especially for the finish. Whenever Kazarian runs down, looks like he's about to cost Daniels the championship. Ends up turning on Adam Cole and the Bullet Club. It was a ruse the whole time. He's got that Destiny shirt on, and he ends up distracting Cole, allowing Daniels to take him down, hit 3 BMEs, and Christopher Daniels is your new ROH World Champion. He's a Triple Crown champion for Ring of Honor now. It's his first world title that he's held in his entire 30,000-year career. Congratulations to Daniels. There's nobody out there who really deserves a world title run more. Don't let the fact that ROH is falling back on people it can rely upon to hold this championship and other areas down. Daniels absolutely does deserve this honor.
I totally agree. I couldn't say it better myself, so I won't. I'll focus on the match. I think, you know, what was interesting about this is it really sold you on the story. This is not about getting 5 stars. And if people are angry or say, oh, man, it's a main event, it should have 5 stars. It should have been as good as Leo Rush. And I know, I'm all flustered. Leo Rush and Marty Scurll. It had to be as good as some of these other matches on this card. No, it didn't. This is about the story. This is about the fact that Christopher Daniels had a goal. He had to do it. You saw that big promo that they cut. If you were following Ring of Honor, you heard him talk about he had to win this match. And the entire time, Adam Cole found a way to knock him down. Sure, he would get up, but he would knock him down constantly. And this entire match, you really felt like Adam Cole is eventually going to get that pin. And at the end there, you know, of course, you got Kazarian getting involved a little bit and, you know, changing things for Christopher Daniels. And, of course, you know, proving that Kazarian really was never against Christopher Daniels. He was just playing the part. And it was aiding him, and it was doing what he needed to do to help his friend. So, you know, Christopher Daniels honestly bled, got the living crap beat out of him. But at the end of the day, he's holding that gold. He's a champion, and it's kind of cool to see that all take place. And now I want to know what's going to happen with Kazarian. He turned his back on the Bullet Club. You know, that's a big deal. So there's so much involved here, Paul. It's a story that I think people want to kind of watch and kind of now follow more. I was afraid that they were going to end this match, and if Christopher Daniels won, it was going to be kind of like, oh, well, the momentum stopped. Yeah, he got to that point. No, the momentum keeps going now because they added that extra factor of Kazarian.
Yeah, and you know, now you have the glory run, if you will, something that we similarly saw with Tommy Dreamer running when he had the ECW world title during the revival period, or any other time where you have an older wrestler holding the world title and trying to keep up with the young guns. Is always going to be for a special time, and especially with Christopher Daniels, who is damn near masterful at storytelling these days. But I love this show, Gary, top to bottom. Let's rate this bad boy.
I think overall, and I apologize for all the interruptions, but if you would get my full thought process on this, I think almost every match on this card had a point. I think they mattered. There were some matches here that were just there for eye candy. That's fine, though. They did a good job of that. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed myself watching this. I felt like everything was positive. It had a good direction for it. I'm pretty darn happy with the 15th anniversary.
Yeah, this show came out of nowhere for me, and for something I thought was going to be a fair pay-per-view turned out to be an incredible one. They created a real moment with Daniels there at the end. The tag team title match over-delivered in ways I wasn't expecting. The TV title match and Lethal and Fish were both incredible. Everything else was good to great, too, and I'm going 8.5. I love this show, and might be one I'm talking about whenever it comes to show of the year.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. So we'll be, hoping that everybody listening tonight, if you didn't watch it and if you're just listening to us talk about it, go check it out. Trust me, it was worth your time. I'm sure Sean will, go and check it out too. He's been busy with a lot of things. Of course, the New Japan Cup and all that. It's been a lot for us to watch this week. So if, like I said, go check out 15th anniversary.
Before we get out of here, though, did I blank, or did we not ever talk about Jack Swagger getting released?
We mentioned it could happen, but you're right, Sean. He was actually confirmed now. This is actually solid concrete that Jack Swagger is released.
Well, because I think he'd be great for Ring of Honor. I know he's got friends over there in TNA, and he might wind up going over there, but God, I hope he goes to Ring of Honor instead, because I don't care how many friends you got. They're not going to infuse you with a personality.
So you don't
TNA.
I agree
I'm sorry,
with that.
TNA is WWE Light. You're not going to succeed on being a wrestler. You're going to succeed on being a personality, just like WWE. If you want to succeed at being a wrestler, go to Japan with New Japan, go to Ring of Honor, go to some other Japanese company or whatever. I just feel like he's not Cody or Sandow, whatever. He's different. Go somewhere where you're going to be appreciated for what you do.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have an issue with him in either promotion. I mean, Ring of Honor, like you said, I think offers more opportunities, even as far as just being a gateway to New Japan at this point, if they do decide to go that route. But, I mean, there's tons of places to work, and I'm sure he won't be hurting for it. He's a great wrestler, and if he didn't have that damn lisp, he'd be so much better. But,
Right.
yeah, I mean, there was a time when even his promo and character work was on fire. So maybe it's just all about finding a place to get some steam going again.
Yeah, and the only thing that's really bothered me, not even the list, was the fact that when he gets into matches, I get out of breath watching him wrestle. He keeps his mouth open the entire time. I'm like, man, breathe through your nose a little bit. That'll help you breathe. I catch myself breathing out of my nose watching his matches. Trying to keep my oxygen level in a good shape. But outside of that, he's a great wrestler. He really does deserve an opportunity to prove himself, and I think him leaving WWE gives him that opportunity. And I really, like Sean said, I hope he does go to Ring of Honor. If he ends up on Impact, I'm just saying, it's going to be him standing there in the middle of the rings, with his hand over his heart, saying, "We the people will make Impact great again," and that's probably what he'll do the entire time. So, who knows? But I hope the best for Jack Swagger. I want to see him do some great things, and we'll see. We'll see if it happens. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up our show tonight. We've got a lot of great content still in store for you guys this week. You don't want to miss it. If you haven't checked it out yet, you need to go check out the SmackDown Live and 205 Live reviews. Those were great. Paul and Sean did a great job on those. Don't forget to also go check out our part 2 that'll be later this week. We'll be doing it on Friday morning on the download for you guys. That'll include lots of other great wrestling news. Plus, we'll talk about more Impact Wrestling. That's why we'll be reviewing this show from this week and telling you if it's any better than the first one, kind of reintroducing everything. And, of course, other great stuff will be in place, too, on that show. So you don't want to miss
our New Japan Cup nights 1 and 2 and, I guess, 3 and 4. Or whatever those matches count as. Review of those as well, because there's some terrific matches on those shows.
Yeah, for sure. So you don't want to miss a minute of the action. Trust me, there's lots of content for you guys to go check out. Once again, go subscribe to the Wrestling to the Max. Also, if you just want everything that we have to offer, W2M Network is right there as well. So we give you all the opportunity to find us. Of course, W2Mnet.com. Don't forget about that as well. I think that wraps us up for the night. So we hope you all have a good part of the middle of the week, and we will see you guys Friday morning on the download. Until then, if you're not living life to the max,
Not living life at all.
You know it.
Please.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.